Today in section 3.1, we're going to talk about quadratic functions and their applications. So far you should know at least one standard form of a quadratic equation, and that would be f of x or y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And so if a is greater than 0, the parabola opens upward, and if a is less than 0, the parabola opens downward. So when we solve by completing the square, we're going to put it into a new standard form that looks like f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And so this new format, the h and k are the vertex. The a then affects the shape of the parabola. So what we're going to do is group the terms with the x's together and factor out the a from those terms. And then you're going to add 1/2 times b over a squared inside the parentheses with the x terms and subtract that also from the c term. And then you factor the parentheses as a binomial square and simplify, and you're going to graph using this format. So h moves your parabola left and right. So actually, it's opposite of what you would think. So plus actually moves to the left, minus actually moves to the right. The k moves it up or down, and that one works the way you think it would, where plus is up and minus is down. And then the a is a stretch factor. So once you have the vertex plotted, you can plot the y-intercept using 0, c, and your reflected point, which is negative b over a, c. So that b over a you would get from the original equation. So if we look at this first example, we have negative 2x squared plus 8x plus 7. So the first thing we're going to do is group those two terms with the x's together. And then we're going to factor that 2 out of there. And then we need to put in something to make that a binomial square. And then we also have to subtract it from that side. So that way we're virtually not changing the equation. So we can put a number in and subtract it, and so we'll have the same thing that we had before. So you take half of your new b value, or half of the original b value divided by a, and so you should get 4 after you square that, because it would be 2. And so when you put it on the outside, don't forget to either multiply it by the 2, which I already did in my head there, or you can use your new value and multiply it by the 2 that's outside the parentheses there. So this will factor then into x plus 2, the quantity squared. And on the outside we'll have 7, and this will be minus 8, so we'll have minus 1. So what that tells us is that the vertex is going to be at negative 2, negative 1. And from our original equation, the y-intercept should be 0, 7. And then the reflected point, you take the original negative b over a, and so that's going to be negative 4, and then the c, which was 7. So if we graph this, we'll go to negative 2, negative 1, that's our vertex, and then at 0, 7, that's our y-intercept, and then the reflected point, you can just find it from the graph. So if you went 2 to the right or 2 to the left to get back to the vertex, you can go 2 more to the left, and then we can check your algebraic work, and that should be your reflected point. So that is how you find another standard form for a parabola.